Game number 7, Wyerton Red Devils versus the Nova Scotia Selects. I'm going to hand it over to Adam. He'll give you some history leading into this game, and away we go.
Thanks, Bernie. As you said, it's our final game here at day 1 at the U23 Men's Canadian Championship in Kitchener. The Wyerton Red Devils are going to be the home team for this game. They lost their first game 8-1 this morning to the defending champion Tavistock Merchants. They're going to play the Nova Scotia Selects, who are the visiting team, and the Nova Scotia team also lost their first game. That was a close 3-2 squeaker against Shallow Lake earlier this afternoon. That's the Ontario 3 seed. Our lineups for today's game for the visiting Nova Scotia Selects, leading off and playing center field is the home run champion from last night, Nick White. Playing first base, Brody Fraser. At shortstop, Nathan Peters. Hitting cleanup, the designated player is Braden Woodworth. Playing third base, Alex Melanson. In right field, Cam Weatherby. In left field, Simon Melanson. At second base, Tyler Payne. Catching is Caleb Eisner. And pitching and not hitting, the flex player is Nick Need. Wyerton's lineup, leading off, catching, Matthew Weiler. Hitting second is the right fielder, Nick McGrain. In left field is Mac Mulvey. Hitting cleanup, playing center field is Aiden Yard. On third base, Riley Torrey. On second, Clayton Glover. The designated player, Joseph Mick. Playing first, Taryn Huey. Playing short, Cole Brubaker. And pitching for Wyerton, but not hitting, is Joseph Weiler. So those are your lineups for this evening's game. It's the final game tonight here at the first day of the U23 Men's Fast Pitch Canadian Championship. And just to go quickly over some other scores from today. First game of the day, the Newfoundland Mariners entry, they beat Shallow Lake 7-0. Saskatchewan Delisle Pride, they beat Harwood Corners from Ontario 11-5. As mentioned, Tavistock defeated Wyerton 8-1. Shallow Lake, as mentioned, defeated Nova Scotia 3-2. The Newfoundland team won their second game of the day, 7-4 over Harwood Corners. And we just, Bernie, got off the diamond from a barn burner between the defending champion Tavistock Merchants and Delisle Pride, with Tavistock taking that game 8-7. That was a rematch of last year's gold medal final in Saskatoon.
That game, I was headed down to the studio for an early Mercy Rule victory, and it didn't happen.
Nope, Tavistock had an early 7-1 lead, and the kids from Saskatchewan fought back and made it a close one. So the first offering by Joseph Weiler is fouled off by Nick White to get things underway. White right at the very back of the batter's box, as far back as he can be, and still be legal. Weiler delivers, and that swung on and missed, and White is down 0-2 early in this at-bat. Weiler delivers the 0-2 pitch. That's just outside for ball one. He's pitching to his brother, Matthew, an all-Weiler battery here for the Wyerton Red Devils. Weiler's pitch, and that's popped up over our heads, Bernie.
Another one on the railroad tracks. I get to go collect those at the end of the night.
Everyone's got a job. A lot of volunteers here, Bernie, yourself included. That's up and out.
It takes a lot to run a tournament like this. We'll talk in between innings about sponsors and so on and so forth.
2-2 pitch from Joe Weiler. Swung on and fouled straight back off the screen.
Thank you.
It's 2-2. Weiler leans back, delivers. That's well out of the zone for ball 3. Full count to Nick White to start off at the top of the first inning, the first bat. Full count pitch. That's laced into left center. Picked up by Mulvey. It falls. White falls, rounding second, and he's going to be tagged out. So he's got a single and is throwing out 7-4. So despite the single, that's a 7-4 putout after White stumbles coming around first base for the first out of the inning. That brings up Brody Fraser, the first baseman. Swung on and missed. Brody spent a lot of time in Ontario lately. He was at the Carp Shootout a couple of weeks ago up near Ottawa, where he played for the East Hants Mastodons team. Then this weekend just passed, he was here, Bernie, for the Kitchener Home and Memorial Classic. He was here for that with East Hants. And he remains here in Ontario playing in the Under-23 Men's Canadian Championship. So, nice long visit in Upper Canada for Brody Fraser. Liner delivers. Just out for ball. Fraser hits well. He does some pitching for Nova Scotia. Very good hitter. That's up the, looked like it's up the middle, but a great play. Great play. Throw him out.
Nick White was up earlier and got thrown out in overrunning the base or stumbling there. But Nick was our home run derby winner
Sure was.
last night, hitting 5 out, 4 of them into the beer tent.
So that brings up Nathan Peters. Peters on the roster as a shortstop tonight for the Nova Scotia team. That's popped up, fouled straight back. Should give some recognition. It was Cole Brubaker who went deep to make that play at shortstop for Wyerton to get the second out.
It was a nice play.
So another pitch fouled off by Peters. 2 outs here for Nova Scotia in the top of the first. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. What just happened? Why? Well, that was Fraser. So apparently Fraser did not ground out there. That was out number 2. Fraser grounded. He must have hit that ball off his foot, perhaps. Sorry, viewers at home. Because this is Peters now. So the great play by Brubaker didn't count. Must have been off his foot or something, Bernie. I'm not sure what happened. So now we got 2 out. Peters swings and misses. Strike 2. That misses for ball 1. 1 and 2 on Peters. Swung and missed for strike 3. So now we have 3 out, Bernie, to end that inning. 2 strikeouts for Weiler to start the game.
Pretty appropriate, but if you know Peter Holman Ball-Yard at all, Adam and I are up in the booth getting a great view of the game, but because of the television cameras, we're not allowed to have the lights on, so it's pretty dark up here.
We are literally in the dark.
Well, I mentioned we would talk about some of our sponsors. A lot goes into making a tournament, and so we have financial sponsors, in-kind sponsors, all kinds of organizations helping us out. Some of our long-term tournaments financial sponsors are Hallman Construction, the Carter Gressman Lawyers, MTE Consultants, and MHPC, Planning, Urban Design, and Landscape Architectures. They are pretty much involved in every tournament that we do, and we really appreciate their support.
All right, so getting ready here for the bottom of the first inning. Wyerton coming to bat. The pitcher for the Nova Scotia Selects is Nick Need. While Nick is playing for Nova Scotia, he's actually from British Columbia. So he's an out-of-province player that Nova Scotia was able to add. At U23, you are allowed to add out-of-province players to play at a Canadian championship. You're only allowed one pitcher, and has import status, and that's Nick Need. So Nick pitched a little bit in the first game, the 3-2 loss. This is his first start, from my understanding, here at the U23 Canadian Championships this year. Nick pitched last year in Saskatoon, and he's still U20 age group, so he's got a lot more years left that he could pitch at the U23 level. So leading off for Wyerton will be the catcher, Matthew Weiler.
So Adam, I think it's correct that you have to, in getting to this level, you cannot have imports. It's not until you get to this level that you're able to add some import players.
That's correct, Bernie. Yeah, U20 and below, the Softball Canada regs don't allow import players, but here at U23 and at the senior men's level, and it is, and Masters 40 plus, it is permitted. So Need, his first pitch of the game is swung on and missed. Weiler was 1 for 3 earlier today. He smacks that one to left field. It's over the head of the left fielder. He's going to second. He looks like he's trying for a triple. Play at third. He's safe at third with a triple to start things off for the Wyerton Red Devils. Weiler's a very good hitter, and he just demonstrated there how he can lead his Red Devils here offensively.
And rounding second, he had the play in front of him and made the decision rounding the bag.
So that brings up the right fielder, Nick McGrain. McGrain, big swing and a miss. Takes the sign from third base coach Mark Huey. Shows bunt, pulls it back, and smacks one foul out of play. The Wyerton did display a bunt play in the earlier game with a man on third base, so Coach Huey not afraid to have a bunt laid down to squeeze in a run. But he didn't do it that time, as McGrain did swing and foul it off. So the 0-2 pitch from Need swung on and missed for the first out of the inning. That brings up Mac Mulvey, who played first last game. He's playing in the outfield this game. Mulvey had a really good game earlier today. He went 2 for 3 against the defending champions, Tavistock Merchants, and he had a triple in that game himself. So we'll see if Mulvey can drive in the first run of the match. Need sets, delivers. Mulvey looks at strike one. Need. The 0-1 pitch swung on and missed. That's 0-2. 5 straight strikes from Nick Need after giving up a triple to the leadoff batter, Matthew Weiler. Mulvey looking to drive in the game's first run for Wyerton. Down 0-2 in the count. Looks at strike 3. And that's 2 out for Wyerton. So Aiden Yard comes to the plate. Aiden's playing center field again this game. He had the only run batted in for Wyerton in their first game, and that indeed was a squeeze bunt single, or sorry, sacrifice squeeze bunt against Tavistock, but he won't be sacrificing here. There's 2 out. That ball gets away from the catcher. Weiler takes a few steps in and then thinks better of it and gets back to third base. Pitch. Off speed, in for a strike.
That was a nice pitch.
Very nice pitch. So 1-1 to Yard. Need leans, fires. Yard watches strike 2. Need, looking to end the threat here, gets Yard to swing at a bouncer. Eludes the catcher, Eisner. Weiler scores, and despite striking out, Aiden Yard reaches first base on the drop third strike, and Wyerton leads 1-0. So an unfortunate circumstance there, Bernie. That was a good pitch. Fooled Yard, but also fooled Eisner, the catcher, and took a dirty hop and allowed the run to score and Yard to advance to first. So Riley Torrey now at bat. Torrey's playing third base tonight for the Red Devils. Big jump from Yard, but he doesn't steal. Strike 1 on Torrey. So Need leans. Fires. Yard is stealing. Eisner's strong arm, and Yard is throwing out stealing to end the inning. So that's 1 run on 1 hit. And there was 1 error there by the catcher, missing that third strike. After 1 complete inning, it's the Wyerton Red Devils 1. The Nova Scotia Selects no score.
Those are the ones that come back to haunt you by the end of the game, right?
They sometimes do.
Out of it and ends up as a run. Couple key organizations that help us out here at Peter Hallman. One is the Kitchener Lions Club. So they run the beer tent for us, which is very popular. And the other organization is Village Caterers. They've been doing the food at our games for several years now, and always have excellent options and excellent food, and we're very appreciative of them helping us out. Mention one other organization, Dwight Brenneman from Expressway Ford New Hamburg, helped us out by providing a vehicle for us to get the umpires around to and from the hotel and get them here on time for the games. And that's always appreciated as well.
So to start off the top of the second inning for the Nova Scotia Selects, the designated player, Braden Woodworth. So he's hitting for Nick Need, the pitcher. Nick's not, while he did bat in the first game, Nick is not hitting in this game. So Joe Weiler, his first offering is fouled off deep into the darkness over the first base side. Second pitch misses for ball 1. That's 1-1.
It was very descriptive, Adam. I'm watching that and just go, wow, that's exactly what happened.
Well, Weiler Weiler's third pitch. It's nubbed over to second base, fielded easily, and he's put out 4-3 for the first out of the inning. So that brings up Alex Melanson, listed on the lineup card as playing third base here for Nova Scotia. While he's playing for Nova Scotia, Alex, from my understanding, is actually from New Brunswick, so he's also an out-of-province player for the Nova Scotia Selects. Alex was a member of the New Brunswick Canada Games team the last time the Canada Games were played in Niagara, 2022. That's swung on and missed by Melanson. Weiler's pitch. Called strike. Two balls and two strikes. Scoreboard says full count, but I believe it's yes, they've corrected it. 2-2 count to Alex Melanson. That one skips outside, deftly grabbed by brother Matthew. Ball three. Now it's indeed a full count. Weiler's pitch. It's driven up the middle. Weiler gets a piece of it, underhands it over to Hui at first. And that's the second out of the inning. A nice play there by Weiler to knock that ball down to get the out. So Cam Weatherby's coming up for Nova Scotia. With two out in the top of the second inning. Weiler misses for ball one. Misses again, that's ball two. Weiler working quickly. Ball three, that must have just missed. Two outs here, 3-0 count on Weatherby. Weiler's pitch. It's down Main Street for strike one. Weiler sets, fires, swung on for strike two. Now it's a full count for Cam Weatherby. Weiler leans and fires. It's fouled straight back. That would hit me right in the nose, Bernie, if there was no screen there.
That's about right.
But there is a backstop and a window pane. So by the properties of physics, we were saved. Still a full count. Weiler's pitch. Swung on and missed. That's strike three. And that ends the inning. So that's 6 up, 6 down for Nova Scotia. And that's Weiler's third K of the game so far, 2 innings in.
So Adam mentioned a couple qualities of the Peter Holman Ball Yard, but it is one of the premier facilities we think in the nation. Sure, some other places would argue, but it is a beautiful spot. 3 diamonds, all lit, and a great grounds crew keeps things. And we've run many tournaments here from the Worlds, or not Worlds, but the ISCs, some Canadian championships, and it's just a wonderful facility. In 2025, we are scheduled to host, because of the World Championships, fastballs all over the place next season. end of August into the September long weekend, we'll be hosting again the U23s, but also the Canadian men's seniors and the Canadian men's masters. So keep an eye open for those dates coming up in your calendar.
Yeah, it should be a great week of softball, Bernie. There's going to be a lot of top athletes from Canada, young and old, with the Masters. And if people haven't seen Masters softball, it's 40 plus. It's a really, really high level of fast pitch softball. A lot of guys can really still play at that level. Okay, so we're starting off the bottom of the second inning. And Riley Torrey gets a chance again because Aiden Yard was caught stealing to end the first. So Riley gets another chance and promptly swings really hard at the first pitch he saw for strike one. Riley does not get cheated at the plate. He's a good hitter. It's a big swing. Need sets and fires. Strike two called in the outside corner. Nick Need, 0-2 pitch, that's well out of the zone. Nick Need is wearing a protective facial mask. He's the only guy I've seen wear one here at the U23 level, but they are becoming more popular amongst pitchers as from an element of safety, and more at younger levels they're mandatory. So some guys choose to keep them on. He strikes out Torrey on an off-speed pitch to start the inning, and Need's already got 4 Ks so far in this game.
Certainly the mask at the younger levels has come from several incidences that have happened, and can't think, but it's a good thing to have in those, especially at the younger level.
Yeah, this level your teeth don't grow back if they're knocked out, Bernie. So, all right, so Clayton Glover's now at the plate. Clayton didn't hit the first game for Wyerton, so we'll see what he can do in his debut here at the 2024 Under-23 Canadian Championship. So Need sets and fires. That's swung on and missed for strike two by Glover. Need, the British Columbia native, he was a member of Team Canada's under-18 national team that played in Colombia and Mexico in the fall. Pitched down in those competitions and did well. That one misses for ball one. Heard a story about Nick down there. As we discussed, he wears the protective facial mask, and the umpires told him, well, you can't wear your hat backwards. He said, well, if I want to wear my mask, I have to wear my hat backwards. They said, well, you can't wear a hat backwards. So from my understanding, he ripped the bill off his hat and just wore the cap only and put the mask over.
That is funny.
Yeah, it's good for him. It was a strong look. There's strike three. It's missed by Eisner, and the throw down is not caught. So that is the second pass ball, third strike.
Would have been a close play even if he caught that, I think.
It would have been.
Got down there quickly.
I agree. So that's Need's fifth strikeout, but 2 of those 5 strikeouts, the batters have reached base. So that brings up Joseph Mick. Joe is the designated player in tonight's game. Joe, the pride of Micksburg, Ontario. I think there's a few fans listening. Hope there are. Hi, Micksburg. Joe swings and fouls one off to start. Joe's not playing as the designated player, he also catches for Wyerton. So 1 out, Joe up. Glover on first. Wyerton up 1-0. That pitch is inside, then almost hit Mick. Evening the count at 1-1. takes the sign. Sets. Fires. It's fouled off to the screen by Mick. It's 1-2.
One ball, 2 strike.
Needs 1-2 pitch. Watched by Joseph Mick. And he strikes out. So despite there being 3 strikeouts this inning, there's only 2 outs. And that brings up Taryn Huey. Taryn playing first base for the Red Devils. Taryn also pitches, but hasn't pitched yet. He hits one right directly back to Need, who throws it over to Fraser on first, and that is the last out of the inning. So after 2 complete, the Wyerton Red Devils lead the Nova Scotia Selects 1-0.
So yeah, Adam, you mentioned that the Masters players, legend players, still have amazing abilities and make for good games. The other thing that happens with people that have played fastball for many years is they continue to give back to the sport. So a lot of them become coaches and so on and so forth. And also some of them get into businesses and they financially support tournaments like this. So
excellent. Let's hear about some of them.
Yeah, so Jody Ite, his family runs the Ace Home and Garden Center in Mitchell, Exeter, and Arthur, and they've made a contribution. And the Skelton family, who are well known in fastball circles, have also made a family donation. So that's always good to see. And it's good to see players coming back and watching as well.
Like you said, a lot of softball players are great supporters of the game they once played, and help out an event like this is very important. Games tomorrow start at 11. And actually, Nova Scotia, despite having the late shift today, they've got the first game tomorrow at 11, which would be noon Atlantic time. And there are 7 games on tap tomorrow, each team playing 2 games.
So many variables go into a tournament, eh?
Yep, it's not easy to schedule. So Simon Melanson, Alex's brother, is now at the plate. They might be twins. I'm not 100% sure, but they are brothers. Simon starting off this inning for the Nova Scotia Selects. 7-team tournament this year. 4 teams from Ontario, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, and Saskatchewan, all represented. With a 7-team event, everyone plays each other, so it's a 6-team round robin. And then we get into the playoff round on Saturday, where 6 teams advance to the playoff round, with the semifinal and championship game on Sunday. So it's 2-2 now to Simon Melanson, left fielder for the Selects. Weiler strikes him out swinging, and that's Weiler's 4th strikeout of the game. So the second baseman now for Nova Scotia, Tyler Payne, comes to the plate. Joe Weiler pitches to brother Matt Weiler, and that's called a ball. Weiler delivers. It's outside. Ball 2. Weiler's pitch is swung on and missed. Now 2-1. Despite this late hour, Bernie, it's actually still pretty warm here in Kitchener. Still kind of sticky.
Yeah, it's an interesting day.
And that's bunted up the third base line. Torrey makes a nice play, throws it over to Huey, and they get the out. Nice play by Riley Torrey to throw out the speedy Payne. who attempted to bunt.
We were talking last game how you don't see a lot of that, so
No.
it's interesting to see that happen there.
Yeah, a little small ball there, trying to get something going. So Caleb Eisner, the catcher, is now at the plate for Nova Scotia. He's hitting 9. That first offering is well out of the zone for ball 1. And that catches the outside corner for strike 1. Weiler not wasting any time. That's out for ball 2. Weiler is U20 eligible and will be playing in the Canadian Championship in Carp, Ontario later this month. That's singled through the left side, and that's the 9-hitter Eisner getting on base with a single, the second hit of the game for the Nova Scotia Selects, and that brings up the leadoff hitter Nick White. In his first appeal, and with the 2-out catcher, the replacement runner will be Tyler Payne in to run for Caleb Eisner. So in fast pitch softball, when there's 2 out, you can use a replacement runner for your pitcher and catcher with the last available batter. So that in this case would be Tyler Payne. So Payne in to run for Eisner with White at bat. So White singled to left field last time. It looked like he had a double, but as he came around first base, he stumbled and was thrown out. White holds on that.
I think you've always been able to do it for the catcher. It's new to have it also for the pitcher now.
That's correct, Chad. Last year's annual general meeting of the Softball Canada annual general meeting in the fall checks the swing on that. He
Yeah,
called
I
strike
think he
on
called
that.
strike
He did
on that
call
one.
strike
Yep.
on that. Okay, called strike.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
1-2 now to White. Weiler, same spot, picked up, ball thrown into second, and so White singles. Once again, this time stays at first base.
That was actually a nice pickup out in the
Yes.
left field there.
Yeah.
It was hit hard.
Very nice play by Mulvey to pick that up and to hold him to first base. So runners on the corners now with 2 out, and Brody Fraser, one of the best hitters for the Nova Scotia team, now at the plate, looking to put Nova Scotia on the board. Big lead by White at first, but he goes back to first base. Yeah, just back to that 2-out pitcher rule. That was a rule adopted by the World Baseball Softball Confederation. He's going, but fouled off. So the international body for fast pitch softball adopted the 2-out pitcher rule, and then Softball Canada adopted it the next year after it was used 1 year in international play. So it's as the father of a pitcher, he really likes that rule because he doesn't really, he runs like his dad. So White steals second base, no throw. So now runners at first and second.
That was a compliment, right, Adam?
Yes. Runners at second and third, excuse me, with 2 out, Fraser at the plate. Fouls one back hard, evening the count at 2-2. So while it's only the top of the third, this is a good chance for Nova Scotia to take a lead or at least even things up here with Fraser at the plate. Weiler's pitch. It's close, but Fraser was right. That's ball 3, so it's a full count. Men on second and third, excuse me. Fraser looking to change the score. Weiler's pitch skipped off the ground, well blocked by brother Matthew, but that puts Fraser on to load the bases with a walk. So single after 2 outs, a single, and a walk loads up the bases for Nathan Peters. Peters struck out the last time he was at bat. Weiler takes the sign. Big swing from Peters, swung on and missed for strike 1. blooped, but easily played by McGrain at second base, and Weiler gets out of the jam. No runs for Nova Scotia on 2 hits and a walk. They left the bases loaded, and after 2.5 innings of play, Wyerton still leads 1-0.
So this live streaming is coming to you live from Peter Hallman Ball Yard, courtesy of Conestoga College, ccdtv.ca. It's actually television for the Conestoga College, and we appreciate them coming in to do our tournament.
It's great to be able to bring back the game live. I'm sure there's folks back in Nova Scotia hopefully watching, and other parts of Ontario that couldn't make it.
So anecdotally, fans have been saying how much they've appreciated, because they know people back home have said they've been watching the game, and so that's good to know.
So we're not just speaking into the void. People are listening.
However, for those of you who live close by and are avoiding the heat, well, you should be down here watching the action live.
Lots of shade in the beer tent, Bernie.
That is true. You mentioned the heat today, so this morning it actually started out not too bad. We had the sun behind the clouds, and we've had a breeze all day. But boy, in the afternoon when the clouds went away, it was sticky.
It was hard on the athletes there.
And now we still have a breeze, and the sun's gone down, and it's actually quite pleasant.
Yeah, very nice night at the ballpark here. So, for Wyerton, leading off in the bottom of the 3rd inning, it's Cole Brubaker. He hits that ball hard to short, and he's unable to field that ball. That was really hard hit. Peters did his best to corral it, but was unable to throw him out, and this speedy Brubaker is down to first with what I would call an infield single.
I was going to ask you what you thought of that one.
Yeah, it looks like the people on the scoreboard agree with me, because they've put a 2 up under
There you
hits
go.
there. Yeah, that's a hot shot. That's a very difficult play, so we'll give Brubaker a hit. That brings up the top of the shop, Matt Weiler. Matt hit a triple last time and scored on a pass ball. Drop 3rd strike technically. That is drilled directly at Need, who throws it over to Peters at short, but they can't turn the double play. So that's 1 out. And Weiler is on base on a fielder's choice. So Nick McGrain coming to bat. He struck out in his first look. He delivers. McGrain bunts. Picked up by Melanson. He's throwing out at first and sacrifices Weiler over to second base. Nice play by Alex Melanson there on third base to make that play. It's not an easy play.
Practically did the splits there, trying to decide whether to go to second and then deciding to go back to first.
Yeah, first was the play there for sure. I don't think he would have a chance at second. So with Matt Weiler on second base, Mac Mulvey, who's been the best hitter so far at the early days of this tournament for the Wyerton Red Devils, is at the plate. He struck out looking the last time. He fouls that hard. Go down 0-1 in the count. Need delivers. It's out of the zone. Evens count 1-1.
One ball, 1 strike.
Nick Need. That's scorched, but it's foul down the left field
Wow, that
line.
was close.
Mulvey got all of that one, but it just
He
was
did.
foul. Next pitch swung on and missed by Mac Mulvey. That's the third out of the inning. And that ends the threat. That's the 7th strikeout in 3 innings for Nick Need, the BC native, here playing for Nova Scotia. So after 3 complete, Wyerton still leads 1-0.
So, Adam, of all the components that go into putting on a tournament, one of the biggest one, of course, is volunteers. We have scorekeepers, announcers, commentators, people running around golf carts, picking people up, dropping people off. There's all kinds of volunteer opportunities. So I would encourage you, if you know of local tournaments happening in your area, if you're in this area, to go on to the websites and check out the volunteer opportunities. If you're a fastball lover and or participated in the past, it'd be a great way to give to the game. So I encourage you to volunteer.
So coming up for Nova Scotia in the top of the 4th inning, be the cleanup hitter, Braden Woodworth. Grounded out in the 2nd. So Woodworth digs in, looks at the first pitch for ball 1. And that's scorched to center field. So Woodworth leads off with a single. Alex Melanson coming to the plate for Nova Scotia.
Sorry we lost Adam there for a bit. So we're picking up. We got number 12, Alex Nelson at the bat for Nova Scotia. Swings and misses on that one. Looks like a full count. Swing and a miss, and that's a strikeout.
With 1 out, the batter is the right fielder, number 25, Cam Weatherby.
Now batting is number 25. Cam Weatherby. First pitch in for a strike. 1-0. It's a called strike. And he's down 2 strikes. And that one's outside, so we get a ball and 2 strikes.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Got some good wood on that one, and it's foul down the left field line. Count remains 2 strikes, 1 ball. Low and outside, and that evens the count up at 2. Swing and a miss, and that's another strikeout, and we have 2 down. Batter now is Cam Mislinson, right fielder. Looks like a change was made, but I can't tell who it is, so come back to that once we know what it is.
Number 26, Riley McKinnon.
So Braden Woodworth remains out on second. Got no strikes, 1 ball. That one's pulled down the left field line. Evens the count at 1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That evens it up at 2-2. Ooh, close one high, and we've got a full count. So I believe the switch was, we have in now 26, number Riley McKinnon. Full count, fouls that one off. So it's still 2 down and a runner at second. Foul tip caught by the catcher. And that's 3 down. So the score remains Wyerton 1, Nova Scotia no score.
Nova Scotia selects at the top of the fourth, with 1 hit and 1 out.
So obviously the Hallman name is pretty big in KW, and we are here at Peter Hallman Ball Yard. Peter Hallman passed away back in 1999 with an unfortunate motorcycle accident. Hard to believe that that was 25 years ago, but his brother Jim Hallman has picked up the reins, continued to support men's teams and minor softball teams in the area, and is a major mover of Kitchener fastball promotions and trying to keep bringing high quality fastball tournaments to the KW area. Thank God Adam's back. So we just picked up now. We're in the bottom of the fourth. And we got a runner on first. I missed that one. Sorry.
All right, we got Aiden Yard on first.
Baseman number 16, Brian
Riley Torrey at the plate. Foul ball. Strike one. Foul. Just out past the outstretched glove of Brody Fraser. Strike two on Riley Torrey. He leans, fires. Strike three. Swinging on Torrey. It's first out of the bottom of the fourth inning. Clayton Glover now at the plate. Clayton struck out in his first at bat, but he did reach first base on a drop third strike. Need's first offering is bunted by Glover, fielded by Need. High throw, but he's safe at first. Peters does not agree with the call. Coach Jeff Fraser is out to talk about it. But as of now, that is a bunt single for Clayton Glover. He's going to discuss with his fellow officials, double check, make sure the call is legitimate.
No such thing as instant replay, right?
Not in this. Safe call prevails. So you've got Yard on first and Glover, Yard on second and Glover on first with one out and Joe Mick coming to the plate. First pitch swung on and missed by Joe Mick. Strike 2 on Mick. Mead leans and fires. Mick fouls it off. Stay alive. Mead takes the sign. Leans back, delivers. That ball bounces in. Blocked by Eisner. 1-2 to Joe Mick. Leans, pitches. Mick swings through that. Strikes out. Second out of the inning. Darren Huey now at bat, grounded out to the pitcher in his last appearance. He's going to try and add to the lead here for Wyerton as they are up 1-0 into the bottom of the fourth inning. First pitch misses for ball 1. Mead leans and fires. Swung on for strike 2. Needs pitch. Called for a strike. It's now 1-2 to Darren Huey.
One ball, 2 strikes. Short here, hey, come on. Right side.
Needs pitch. Swung and missed. He strikes out 3 this inning to give him 10 Ks on the night. So after 4 complete, it's Wyerton 1. The Nova Scotia Selects, no score.
Just a couple shout outs to some of the media that follow our tournament and post results. If you're familiar with fastball at all, you'll know that Al Doran has a Facebook page that is full of results from across North America, and our tournament's on there. So if you go to Al's Fastball on his Facebook page, you can follow the scores there. We always thank Al for reaching out and giving that information to our fans. Also locally, we have 519 Sports Online, Darren Stevenson, very good supporter of local sports, and you'll find commentary and results there as well.
Tyler Payne leading things off here in the top of the fifth for Nova Scotia. Close, low-scoring game here, unlike the previous game. It was 8-7. This one is 1-0 after 4 complete. Misses for a ball. That's another ball. It's ball 4. Tyler Payne reaches with a walk to lead off the top of the fifth. Catcher Caleb Eisner
Now batting,
coming to the plate for Nova Scotia.
the catcher, number 88, Eisner.
Eisner shows bunt. Thought he pulled it back, but plate ump appears to be calling swing.
Oh, am I complaining about the lack of bunting, and they're all over the place now with them.
Showing bunt, pulls it back. That ball goes up to the screen, and Payne takes second base on the wild pitch.
And that's why you play the bunting game.
So Weiler delivers. That's strike 2 on Eisner. Swung on and missed. Eisner strikes out for the first out of the top of the fifth, bringing Nick White, the leadoff hitter, to the plate. He's 2 for 2 already today. They're intentionally walking him. 1 out, putting him on first. Softball Canada rules, you do not have to throw the 4 balls. You can intentionally walk a batter just by indicating to the umpire that that is your preference. So Brody Fraser comes up. Brody Fraser takes ball 1 outside. Fouled straight back off the screen. Evening the count at 1-1. It's grounded to first. Huey makes the play, steps on first unassisted. Both runners advance 60 feet, so White is on second and Payne is on third. So 2 out. Coach Fraser's having a discussion with Nathan Peters. Men on second and third. Nova Scotia looking for a timely hit here that would take the lead or even things up. Oilers first offering fouled straight back by Peters. Biggest threat so far for Nova Scotia in this game to get on the board. Weiler's pitch. Foul. And that's 2 strikes. 0-2 on Peters. Weiler looking to shut things down here for Nova Scotia's top of the 5th. Get Wyerton back on the bats. Leans, pauses, delivers. It's out of the zone for ball 1. Joe Weiler pitches. Brother Matt grabs that pitch up high. Now the count's even at 2-2. Leans and fires. That skips in for a ball, so he started off 0-2. 3 straight balls. Turns it into a full count for Nathan Peters. The full count pitch. Well out of the zone. Peters walks to load the bases. Second walk of the inning. The first one was intentional to Nick White. This one was not intentional. And now we're going to have a plate conference, or sorry, a mound conference, excuse me, with Coach Nick Ford of the Wyerton Red Devils out to talk to the infield. Braden Woodworth, the designated player, is the next scheduled hitter for the Nova Scotia Selects. Bases loaded, 2 out, top of the 5th. Doesn't look like, oh, maybe they do. Does Wyerton have someone warming up over there, Bernie?
Yes, they do.
They do have someone warming up. It's
Yep.
tough to tell who it is from here.
Yeah, I can't get a number from here.
Could be Dakota McComb, who pitched the first game.
I think you may be right. It looks like a 6. Did that go off the roof?
No, the ball was fouled off the stands, just straight back and over into the stands. It's not a railroad track ball for you to pursue.
We do have roof balls that get caught in the eaves there.
I've seen that. Saw someone trying to retrieve one earlier this week.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
Yeah, it was a dangerous situation. So that's in for strike 2. So it's an 0-2 count again. Foul ball comes back. Weiler keeps the one he has. The base is loaded. 2 out. 2 strikes on Woodworth. That skipped in. That gets away from Matt Weiler. Wild pitch. Scores a run as the speedy Tyler Payne comes in to score and evens things at 1-1. Pitch just lost the handle on and allowed Payne to score. So Weiler's still up 1-2 in the count. That's knocked down first base. Hui has a little bit of problems with it, but ends up corralling it for the unassisted put out at first base. But not before the Nova Scotia Selects score a run on 1 hit and 2 walks and a wild pitch to even things at 1-1 after 4.5 innings of play.
So we've had 2 runs scored, and neither of them have been pretty.
Well, neither of them are the result of RBIs, that's for sure.
I'd like to give a shout out to some of our media friends on the radio up in Owen Sound. Fred Wallace. Fred Wallace has been a big supporter of fastball all over the province. Quite often comes down and helps us to do announcing and that sort of thing. So a shout out to Fred up in Owen Sound and Steve Sabarone from Wingham. Both working in radio and promoting the game up there. Thank you to both Steve and Fred.
So a low-scoring game here for the nightcap. The first opening day of the 2024 Under-23 Men's Canadian Championship softball tournament here at the Peter Hallman Ball Yard in Kitchener, Ontario. Wyerton Red Devils, the Ontario 2 seed here at the championship, facing off against the Nova Scotia Selects. Cole Brubaker is your batter. He singled in his previous at-bat. Fouls one back. Oh. So as mentioned earlier, both teams lost their first games, both looking to get in the win column here. Wyerton lost 8-1 to the defending champs, the Tavistock Merchants, and Nova Scotia lost a close 3-2 squeaker to Ontario 3, the Shallow Lake Sting. That off-speed pitch is in for strike 2, called. Neat leans, fires, swung on and missed by Brubaker. That's Need's 11th strikeout of the game, and we've just begun the 5th inning. Hard-throwing righty from northern British Columbia, demonstrating why a team from all the way across the country in Nova Scotia picked him up for the championship. So that brings up the top of the order, Matthew Weiler now batting, and he laces one to right field. However, that's caught by Cam Weatherby, who had to move about 3 steps to his left to make that catch. And quickly, we're at 2 outs. So Nick McGrain now at the dish. He struck out, dropped a sacrifice bunt in his second plate appearance. 2 out in a 1-1 game here in the bottom of the 5th. Slashes one foul just over the first base dugout where Nova Scotia's camped out. It's a nice touch, Bernie, in the opening ceremonies. Each team got the flag of their province, and Tavistock, as defending champs, got a Canadian flag.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was only one Ontario flag for the 3 Ontario teams. But
They can share. Nice opening ceremony with.
It's always nice to have the dignitaries come by and give their wave, but and show their support.
Yeah.
We had our Kitchener Mayor and Barry Bravanovic and Liberal member Bartis Chager were 2 of the prominent dignitaries.
0-2 pitch to McGrain. It's a chopper to second base. Fielded, put out, and that ends the inning 3 up, 3 down for Wyerton in the bottom of the 5th. So after 5 complete, we're tied 1-1 here in Game 7 of the Under-23 Men's Canadian Championship softball tournament in Kitchener.
So another one of our key community members from the radio, Mike Farwell, has a talk show on 570 News. Was the MC for the opening ceremonies, which was fantastic. And then he also emceed the home run derby previous night before. So a big thank you to Mike Farwell for his participation. Mike runs a fundraising event where he puts himself out for hire, and people hire him to do different jobs, and he's raised hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years for the community.
He did a great job on the in his emceeing duties. He's a real pro, and you guys were lucky to have him available for the opening ceremony and the home run derby.
He is also the voice of our Kitchener Ranger hockey team.
Oh, right on.
Replacing the longtime Don Cameron, who did that for years.
Go Rangers. So leading off for Nova Scotia Selects in the top of the 6th is Alex Melanson. If you're just joining us, we're a little behind schedule here at the Canadian Championship. We got started a little bit late as the game previous was a high-scoring affair. An 8-7 victory for the defending champions over last year's silver medalist, the Delisle Pride. It was a rematch of the gold medal game in Saskatoon, and once again, Tavistock prevailed. So Joseph Weiler's first offering to Alex Melanson is well out of the zone for ball one, and his second one swung on and missed. Melanson tried to check his swing but was unable to do so to even the count at 1-1. Weiler pitches. Melanson drops a nice bunt, streaks down the line, but it's fielded by Weiler very well. Fired over to Taryn Huey for the first out. Mark that in your score sheet, a 1-3 put out. Melanson made that close. He got down the line quickly.
He did. It was almost a highlight reel pickup there and throw.
Yeah. Weiler's very strong defensively. He fields his position well. So Cam Weatherby comes to the dish with one out. Looks at ball one high. Next pitch also out of the zone for ball two. Neither team's had a lot of hard hit balls here, Bernie. Pitchers both throwing very well. Swung on and missed for strike two.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Excuse me, strike one. That's strike two. So evened up 2-2.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Couple of big hats from Weatherby. We'll see if he shortens here and tries to single up for the selects to get some base runners here in the top of the 6th inning. He swings it hard through that, goes down on strikes. So there's 2 out now. And Simon Melanson, Alex's brother, is now at the plate.
The batter will be the designated player number 26, Riley McKinnon.
So we actually had a change there. My apologies. It's not Simon Melanson hitting.
That would be the result of Adam's departure and Bernie's filling in. Trying to do the job of Adam was a little difficult.
So it's Riley McKinnon who's substituted in for Simon Melanson. Two balls and 1 strike on McKinnon. That's skipped outside for ball 3. Miller's had a lot of strikeouts, but he's also had a few of those pitches tonight that have caused him problems and ultimately resulted in the first run with the bases loaded when he threw a wild pitch that allowed the one and only Nova Scotia run to score. And that's ball 4, putting McKinnon on base.
And that was the story of the game because that run was reciprocated in the same fashion. And that's why we're stuck at 1-1.
So now, I believe Melanson is going to re-enter the game to run for McKinnon, who had hit in his spot. So I'm sort of right, because Melanson is now in the game after Jeff Fraser.
Another one of those
switch.
fastball rules.
Yes, exactly. So any player in the starting lineup can be substituted for and re-enter into the game once. So if they were to substitute for Simon Melanson again in this game, he would no longer be eligible to play. And Riley McKinnon, as a substitute who's entered the game and been removed, is no longer eligible to be in the lineup.
Adam, you have to feel for people that are coming out to a fastball game for the first time and wondering what's going on.
Well, there are a few rules that are unique to fast pitch softball that help keep the rosters relatively small and encourage participation in the game. And rules at all levels. We got another substitution here. This one I'm on top of, Bernie. This is Evan.
That's because you're here.
Evan Tilley is in to hit for Tyler Payne. He tries to check his swing, but swings through it for strike 1. exit, strike 2 called. 2 outs here. The runner on first, tied at 1. Tilly swings at that, and that's a strikeout to end the inning, top of the 6th. So no runs, no hits, 1 man left on. After 5 1/2, it's the Wyerton Red Devils 1, the Nova Scotia Selects 1. Looks like Coach Fraser might be using the re-entry rule once again to re-enter Tyler Payne, who was pinch hit for.
Yeah, and that's the other side of giving back in fastball. A lot of players continue on with their careers by moving into the coaching ranks. Coaches move into the coaching ranks because they want to coach their sons. And it's just a great way to give back to the sport.
So the top of the 6th for Wyerton, scheduled batters, Mac Mulvey, Aiden Yard, and Riley Torrey. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Wyerton Red Devils. So if they're going to try and take a lead, now's a good time for them to take advantage of these 3 strong hitters in their lineup. Nick Mead has been throwing very well for Nova Scotia. He's got 11 strikeouts in 5 innings so far, and he's only allowed 3 hits. So, the aforementioned Mac Mulvey at the plate. Mac's got some Team Canada experience. He's at the U19 level. Very skilled hitter. He also pitches for the Red Devils. That's that first pitch go for ball 1. Nick Need delivers. That's outside, ball 2, 2-0 to Mulvey. Hitters count to a good hitter. Need takes the sign from Eisner. Swung on and missed by Mulvey. Now 2-1. It's getting late here. Still 1-1. Mulvey checks his swing. It's now 3-1. Wyerton looking to get a base runner here with the meat of their order up. Need pauses, fires, swung on, missed by Mulvey. So the count's now full. Saw Mac's dad Mike here earlier today. Mike was one of the dignitaries on the field for the opening ceremonies, as he is the president of the Ontario Amateur Softball Association. Need fires. That's chop foul. As I mentioned, Bernie, I have several bosses here today. As the assistant tournament supervisor. Brooks Penrod from Saskatchewan is the tournament supervisor from Softball Canada. Mike Brasho, Chief Executive of Softball Canada, is also here, and as I said, Mike Mulvey, the president of the OASA, was also here. Mike's son Max strikes out, swinging for the first out of the bottom of the 6th. My real boss is, of course, at home and will not be listening to this live stream, guaranteed.
I know when we first did the bid and were communicating back and forth, a gentleman by the name of Gilles. Is he one of your bosses as well?
No, well, Gilles works for Softball Canada. I asked Gilles, he might think yeah, perhaps. Gilles is one of the Softball Canada staff. He works at the office in Ottawa.
Yes, when I asked if he was coming, he said, "No, but Mike will be there, and he's my boss." So.
Yeah, there you go. So Aiden Yard swings at the first pitch for strike one. Nick Need rolling here with 12 strikeouts. Needs second pitch to Yard. Out of the zone. Ball one. Getting close to 11 o'clock here in Kitchener. Guess that puts it close to midnight out in Nova Scotia. Hopefully you're still awake. Bernie and I are keeping you interested in this game. Hard swing from Aiden Yard for strike two.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
One-two pitch to Yard, fouled. Well back over the screen.
Had to mention that. It's another ball to go find.
Yes. About $8 a ball nowadays for a K-Master, so they're worth finding.
Up until this year, on that side, on the first base side, that whole side was bush.
Oh,
You could rarely find the balls in there. And this year they finally cut it all back, so it's great.
Yard waits.
Ooh, that's in there.
Pitch, drills it down the third base line. He's going to go to second, and he slides in for a double. So Aiden Yard gets things going for the Red Devils here in the bottom
That
of the
was
sixth.
just in between the base and the
Now batting,
Yeah,
and the third baseman there. That was a seeing eye double.
it just squeaked by. So Aiden Yard on second base with one out. Brings up Riley Torrey. Riley struck out a couple times already this game, but he's a really good hitter. And he's a definite threat to change the score in this game. Looks like Nova Scotia thinking the possibility of small ball here. Melanson creeping in a little bit on third base. Wyerton has demonstrated that they will bunt the ball in the almost 2 games they've played so far here at the championship. So Meade takes the sign from his catcher Eisner. Steps back, leans, rocks, fires, and that's missed by Eisner. And that pass ball allows Yard to advance 60 feet to third base. There are a lot of ways you can score from third base with one out. And Wyerton will be trying to take advantage of at least one of them. Both teams with only 4 hits here in the bottom of the 6th. The pitchers are pitching well. Nick Need delivers. Thought he might have had the outside corner there, but that's a ball.
1-1.
He's really hitting his target.
Next pitch to Torrey. That skipped and bounced, but to get a favorable bounce, it's in Eisner's feet. He manages to find it. They certainly got a favorable bounce there to prevent Yard from scoring on a wild pitch.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Those of us that catch occasionally call those wild pitches. Most pitchers would call those pass balls.
That is true.
So Need delivers. Swung on. Missed by Torrey, evening the count at 2-2. Torrey be just looking to put this ball in play in an attempt to score the speedy Yard from third. The Nova Scotia infield is tight, hoping to prevent that from happening. Need, leans, fires. That's fouled back by Torrey. Battling here and attempting to put something in play here to change the score. takes the sign, fires it in there, and that's chopped, but it's foul over to the third base side dugout. So Torrey battling here, trying to get a pitch that he can lean into. Trying to get a pitch that he can put in play to score a yard from third with one out in a game that's been tight from beginning till now. Needs offering. That's smashed up the middle by Torrey, and an RBI single for Riley Torrey. Great at bat by Torrey, and he gives Wyerton the lead 2-1 in the bottom of the sixth. Timely hit from Torrey. So it looks like we might have a pinch hitter here for Wyerton as Coach Jeff Fraser comes out to speak to Nick Need.
So one of the beauties, Adam, of Peter Holman Ball Yard is it's kind of nestled in the industrial area, kind of away from all the homes. There's some apartments in the distance, but they can keep the lights on all night. We've played till 4 o'clock in the morning there. Despite the late hour, we will go until the game's finished.
So there is indeed a pinch hitter. Tyler Broncho is coming in to hit for Clayton Glover with one out. And we've got a pinch runner in as well. Looks like the speedy Alex McGilvery is in to run for Riley Torrey. McGilvery, probably one of the fastest runners here at the 2024 U23 Men's Softball Championship. He can fly around the bases. Brancho is actually very, very speedy as well. So if these two, if Tyler hits a gapper, you'll be able to watch them fly around the bases, Bernie. So after Riley Torrey's RBI single has put Wyerton in the lead 2-1, Brancho comes in for a pinch hit for the Wyerton Red Devils with one out. Nick Need leans and fires. That hits Brancho in the back of the calf and puts Brancho on first base. So now they're first and second. Joe Mix at bat.
Assuming the U23s don't have analytics to operate off of, you're just going by visual on the speeds there.
So Joe Mick, a very good hitter, and by his own admission, not as fast as Tyler Brancho, but a very good hitter. In a key situation here for Wyerton, he'll be looking to change the score. Swing and a miss for Joe Mick. But that ball's missed by the catcher, and both runners, as mentioned, speedy, advanced 60 feet on the pass ball.
That was heads up running.
Putting two in scoring position now for Joseph Mick.
One strike.
So Nick Need, very important pitch here for, and that's swung on and missed by Joe. So he's down 0-2 in the count. Nick Need has already got 12 Ks so far tonight, looking to get a 13th. Rocks and fires, and that's out of the zone for ball one.
One ball, 3 strikes.
1-2 to Joe Mick. With 1 out, 2 in scoring position. Pitch comes in, and Joe Mick smashes that, but it's foul. Mead leans back, sets, fires. Joe Mick takes that pitch for ball 2, so it's 2-2 to Mick. Wyerton up 2-1. Bottom of the 6th. A couple of key base runners on here for the Red Devils. Mead fires. That's driven into the off Joe's foot or shin. Walks it off. Battling away here. It's a changeup. Mick puts it in play. They make the play at the plate. Hard slide at home, but McGilvery is out as Eisner holds on to the ball.
Yeah, he did well to hold on to the ball there.
Sure did. That was a hard slide. Clean slide, but a hard slide. Not sure what the meeting's about.
He's checking his hand, I think.
Mark Huey perhaps asking for some sort of an interpretation. Certainly look from our perch up here, even though we are in the dark, Bernie,
Yeah.
he did look at, he did look out at home.
I think we're looking at an injury. He may be coming out.
Eisner's getting his hand looked at, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so.
Mick reaches base on the fielder's choice. Brancho advances to third. There's 2 out. Taryn Huey was scheduled to hit, but it looks like that Wyerton might be putting in a pinch hitter, as Gavin Gibbons is in the on-deck circle. And they're also putting in Charlie Pierce into run for Mick. So Charlie Pierce into pinch run for Joe Mick, and Gavin Gibbons into pitch hit for Taryn Huey. We'll see if Caleb Eisner's okay. Appears to be getting some attention on the bench. Like we said, Bernie, it was a hard slide from Alex McGilvery, but that's what he had to do to get to home. A clean slide, just an awkward collision. And kudos to Eisner for holding on to the ball for the out there. That was impressive play by him to save a run. Appeared that the Wyerton runner McGilvery was running on contact, hoping to obviously score there, but
And the throw home was a good one in a good position, but not really for the catcher.
no, it was a dart home. It was a well thrown ball by Nick Need to save the run. But I guess they're going to have to suit someone else to catch.
Yeah, like I say, the lights can stay on all night.
That is handy. I know of other ballparks where there's
11 o'clock curfew, got to shut her down.
Municipal bylaws or other various
Yep.
regulations.
I get it when you're in a neighborhood. You don't want lights shining in your window at
Yeah.
all hours of the night.
Yeah. So a game that started late, that was moving fairly quick, is taking a little bit longer, but hopefully Caleb Eisner's okay. Like I said, it was awkward collision there at home plate and maybe jammed a finger or twisted a wrist or something like that.
Yeah, it looked like the way he was holding his arm, it looked like a wrist.
Let's hope he's okay. As mentioned earlier, Nova Scotia's got to get right back at it the first thing in their first game in the morning. Fortunately, it doesn't start till 11, so it's not too early.
But if this goes till 4,
Yeah. Bernie, if this goes to 4,
we like to send kudos out to the Conestoga crew who are still here.
they're doing a great job. It's
I don't think they know what they got into.
excellent coverage by the Conestoga folks. It's very professional work that they're doing, and we thank them for it. So Nick Need is staying loose here by throwing a few warm-up pitches to his shortstop. Well, for those that are just joining, I can go over a few of the previous scores today, just for those of interest. The day started off with the Newfoundland and Labrador entry. The Mariners, they won 7-0 over the Shallow Lake Sting, the Ontario 3 entry. Second game of the day was the Saskatchewan team, the Delisle Pride. They won 11-5 over Ontario 1, Harwood Corners. Game 3 saw the Tavistock Merchants, the defending champions, defeat the Wyerton Red Devils 8-1. Fourth game of the day was a squeaker with Ontario 3, the Shallow Lake Sting, edging the Nova Scotia Selects 3-2. The fifth game of the day was the Mariners of Newfoundland and Labrador winning 7-4 over Harwood Corners. The game that was just finished before this one was an 8-7 barn burner, with the defending champs Tavistock Merchants defeating Delisle Pride from Saskatchewan. The Tavistock Merchants at one point were up 7-1 in that game, and Bernie thought we were going to get a mercy rule, but a run rule game, but we did not, as the Delisle Pride scrapped back and managed to get back within a run, only to be held off by the Merchants, who got the 8-7 win. So the record so far: Tavistock Merchants have 2 wins and no losses. Newfoundland and Labrador also with 2 wins and no losses. The Saskatchewan team is 1 win and 1 loss. Harwood Corners has no wins and 2 losses. Shallow Lake Sting have a win and a loss. And both Wyerton and Nova Scotia have 1 loss, but somebody eventually, at some point, is going to win this game. Just a matter of how long and how late. Just dealing with an injury replacement here, I believe.
The Conestoga crew has asked what time the game will be finished.
That's one thing about stick and ball sports, like baseball and softball.
So I have informed them that we don't know.
There is no time limit. I think cricket also doesn't have a time limit. Stick and ball
cricket
sports
goes for days, does it not?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Back in the day, we used to play something called a double elimination. If you lost early, you played a lot. And I do recall winning a double elimination tournament coming up the back end on a Thanksgiving weekend. It was our long weekend. And we would be finished our game at 1 o'clock in the morning, start the next one at 8. And then when you come to the, if you go up the back end and you get to the final, you're up against the team that's undefeated, so you got to beat them twice.
This is true. Yeah, the days of the double elim, there are still some tournaments that are a double elimination. They're rarer and rarer as teams travel great distances to play tournaments that they'd like to have more than a 2-game guarantee, but there are still some double elimination events that happen. The Canadian Championships, from my understanding, There's always a 6-game minimum guarantee for a Canadian championship. So,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
And you have teams traveling across the country and coming in from different parts of the province and different parts of Canada. It's a 6-game guarantee that helps get them here, so to make sure that there's enough ball to be played. So
Don't think we have a new catcher. He's back.
he's got some sort of treatment.
It's called freezing the arm.
Yeah, he certainly is back. Good for him. One tough kid. We're back at it. So the situation we have here, there are 2 outs. This is the bottom of the 6th inning. Wyerton has just scored earlier this inning to take a 2-1 lead. We've got runner on first, Gavin Gibbons, or excuse me, Charlie Pierce, who's running for Joseph Mick. We've got Tyler Brancho on third base, and we've got Gavin Gibbons coming to bat. He's pinch hitting for Taryn Huey. So runners on the corners, 2 out, a 1-run game, the bottom of the 6th, and we're about to get back to playing ball here. So, Nick Mead, one of the top young pitchers in the country from northern BC, who's picked up by the Nova Scotia Selects for this event, rocks and fires and swung on and missed by Gavin Gibbons. Mead delivers. That's lifted out to right. Long run, and it's a caught foul ball out there in right field by Cam Weatherby, and that ends the inning. So a long delay, but we're now completed 6. Wyerton up 2-1 coming into the top of 7th. It's do or die time for the Nova Scotia Selects, and they've got Caleb Eisner coming to bat, the fellow who was just injured on that collision at home plate. So we'll see if Coach Jeff, if Jeff Fraser actually elects to allow Caleb Eisner to hit, or whether he puts in a pinch hitter in this situation.
So for the Conestoga crew, if there are no runs scored in this inning, we are out of here. If there's 1 run scored, we could be here all night.
So Joseph Weiler is still in the pitching circle, throwing very well. He's only allowed 4 hits over the course of 6 innings. Joseph still eligible at the U20 level. Chatsworth Longhorns pitcher. That's his club in U20. He's been picked up as well. So he was, not only was he picked up by the Wyerton Red Devils for the U23 Men's National Championship, he's also been picked up by the Rostock Braves at the U20 level for the Canadian Men's Championship at U20 in Carp, Ontario later this month. So we'll see him there as well.
Leading off the top of the 7th, Nova Scotia Selects will be the catcher number 80.
So, top of the 7th inning, as mentioned, do or die time. And Eisner is indeed taking his spot at home plate, so good for him. Ball 1 lifted high. Eisner had a hit earlier in the game. It's always helpful from your 9-hitter. Leaves that pitch in the outside corner. That evens the count at 1-1. Called first strike. Joe Weiler rocks and fires. Shows bunt, pulls it back. He does not pull it back. Excuse me, that is a called strike. I'm not sure whether that was on the swing or on the pitch, but nonetheless, it's strike 2 to Eisner. Weilers fires. Swung on and missed. That's a strikeout to start things off. That brings us up to the top of the order. Nick White leading things off. Nick was intentionally walked earlier in the game. Just Wyerton respecting his abilities as a hitter. Nick plays at the open men's level and very, very good hitter. Swings through strike one. Weiler rocks and fires. White lets that one go for ball one. Weiler, a little off speed up the middle. Great play by McGrain. Throws it wild though, and that'll be an error charge to McGrain. He made a nice pick to go up the middle to get it, but the speedy White, he had to rush the throw, and the throw went wild, bounced off the dugout screen and right back to the first baseman to allow White to reach on an error. So Brody Fraser's at the plate. White shows steal. He shows steal, but immediately goes back. Foul ball, strike one to Fraser. Fraser definitely a threat to hit one out. Another big jump by Nick White. Certainly has the advantage of drawing the middle infield towards second base and allow Fraser to pull one through the 4-hole over there. Hard swing for strike two. It's 1-2. 1-2 pitch. Weiner delivers. That's popped up way above the lights. Baker makes the catch, and that's 2 out. So it's 2 out. It's time for Nathan Peters to come to the plate. Nick White on first. Down a run in the top of the 7th. They don't score here, they lose. White steals, the throw's on the money, and he is thrown out stealing to end the game. White does not agree with the call. It was a great throw. Coach Jeff Fraser asking to discuss it with the umpire. He does not look pleased. It was a great throw by catcher Matthew Weiler. Very close play. Nick White throwing out stealing to end the game here in the top of the 7th inning. So your final score, the Wyerton Red Devils 2, the Nova Scotia Selects 1. Wyerton evens their record at 1 win and 1 loss. Nova Scotia falls to 0-2, both games 1-run losses. Your winning pitcher, Joseph Weiler, went the distance, only allowed 4 hits. Your losing pitcher, Nick Need, who also only allowed 4 hits, and he struck out 12 in a losing cause. A great showing by Need. Tough loss for Nova Scotia, scrappy win by Wyerton. That's it, we're done for today. Tune in tomorrow for another 7 games of fast pitch softball here at the Peter Hallman Ball Yard in Kitchener.
So we're back on the air at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. I want to thank Adam Brown for his work today, and our other commentators, Ron and Sean, who I think are at home in bed.
I hope so.
Have a good night. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Bernie. Thanks, lads.